Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is Megalodon, Aaron Joseph Pita.
You thought I was a saint.
No, I just think your cum stinks. Oh, good.
Just when you thought it was safe to whack in the water.
The water.
Yeah, it's not.
That's from Thomas Nowak. He wanted to call you Megalodon.
Noted sick man.
It's great because sometimes it's great when they throw one out there and then they're like, I don't know, I'm just... they kind of half apologize for it. Oh. But it's also great to get those messages out of context. It's just, I just get names thrown at me.
Yeah.
It's really tight.
I like that a lot.
They read them when they're sober and they go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Send them in.
I love getting them sent in. To your right, my left, of course, is Cape God, Gape God, handsome Matt Brousseau.
Aye.
Wow.
Aye.
Here in the flesh.
How you doing, pal?
And light. Good.
What?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, this new AI isn't working out.
It's a flashlight joke.
Oh. It's really good when you have to explain it.
Yes,
Is that gonna
always best.
Now, is that going to be part of the new Mattel universe?
Oh, yeah, the fleshlight movie?
The Pussy Pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Aaron, you were asked by a gentleman to start work on a profile of the famous Timothy Leary.
Yes, noted Irish Catholic.
JFK of his day.
Yeah.
Very excited. You said you're working on that.
Yes, just started.
Okay, and we don't know who sent that in. We will look it up.
Well, I guess.
We will drop your name eventually.
Eventually.
I thought you were going to look.
No, I am going to send. I'll tell you what I'm going to send a shout out to is Mr. Ross Shackleford, who listens to the show. Sent me some suggestions for profiles. I got like 4 on the go right now, thanks to listener suggestions.
Any relation to the Shackleford expedition?
Oh, great question. I don't know, but he is.
Doubt it.
He's a He is. He told me, he's like, oh, I listen to you guys while at work and it makes the day go by, which I love hearing that. And then I love hearing what you guys are working at.
Yes, tell us.
And he is a 18-wheeler, like a diesel mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Way
Yeah.
better than like hired killer or something.
Super cool. And I was like, oh man, that's rad. And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I just do it. I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you don't understand. It's like every other job seems cool when you don't do it.
well,
so,
yeah, and especially in
well,
LA
not
when
all.
nobody has real jobs.
Kinda, yeah.
Well, no one we know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know plenty of people. But yeah, there's not, real skilled.
Yeah, we got a lot of influencers here. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone has
Got
to.
some guy opening a box for no
on.
fucking reason.
Boise isn't doing it.
But anyway, shouts out to him. That was
and Jesse Repick.
oh, Jesse,
Repack.
yes.
Repack.
Repack.
Repack?
I don't know how to say it. That's who sent in the Timothy Leary.
Jesse!
It's on you, Aaron.
Hey, well, fucking Tim Francis fucking O'Leary is, not O'Leary. Timothy
no, it's-
Francis Leary
It's O'Leary.
is on the,
Didn't he have a cow that destroyed Chicago or something?
Don't know that reference either. He's really got to explain a lot to us today. What's going on here?
It was the O'Learys, the cow that started the Chicago fire. It's the old
deep
rumor.
cut.
Very deep cut. Quite.
Wow. Okay, it's just
He thinks everybody's going around knowing the name of the fucking cow that started the
fucking
fire.
all the
Bessie.
Red Devil in the White City, man.
Jesus.
Oh, we've moved on from Chicago fire already. Okay.
Yeah, get over
Chicago
it, man.
did.
You're not even from there, really. Boys, you're both very handsome.
He is from Western Massachusetts, though.
That's true. Yeah.
He is, yes.
Timothy Leary.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a good place to do drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tip cows, maybe?
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah.
Start fires? Yeah. Now, here's the thing, gentlemen. Obviously, folks, check us out on Patreon. We do an extra episode per week, and it's lovely over there.
Come on.
It's true. It's the water.
It's so nice.
The
It's
water's
a
warm.
nice neighborhood to take a drive.
Did you get a fucking shirt yet? Did you get a fucking Profiles in Eccentricity shirt yet on the Etsy store? They look really good. Matt was wearing one the other day. I could barely keep my hands off them.
I was wearing one the other day, too. I couldn't keep my hands off myself. So I didn't.
Yeah. Now,
Smart.
here's the fucking thing, fellas.
Uh-huh.
I could not find too much information on this profile I'm going to share with you today, but the one thing I have is a very very fun video, and this guy is what I would consider my mom would definitely call him a pisser. Now, are you familiar with the term pisser and what it means?
I have a vague idea of the vibe.
It's kind of a thing. I think it's going away. I don't hear people say it anymore. Both of my parents, Tom and Tina, said it a lot.
Well, I mean, it must have some relation to taking the piss. Taking the piss.
Taking the piss? Yeah, I suppose.
Not taking no piss, but taking no piss.
But the way it would be used by my parents especially was, like, somebody is so crazy that they're a pisser.
Yeah.
The other way is they're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that phrase.
Right?
I heard that phrase. I feel like I've heard it around Boston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they say pissa.
Pissa.
Yeah. But this guy's a fucking pisser, man. It brings up very interesting stuff about the community and policing in it. And as a comic book guy, Aaron, you're really gonna love this.
Great.
Because this guy, you know, he's like. He's kind of like Stick and Daredevil, like all rolled into one.
Oh, great!
And he's real crazy. What you're gonna see up front is a little bit of media footage that he got on a TV show that was hosted by Grasso. What the fuck is his name?
Ed Grasso.
But he's played by Scheider in the French Connection.
Oh, Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
And so he was partner to Egan,
who was Popeye.
Yeah, and
Rest in peace, William Friedkin.
and I watched a Friedkin interview with Grasso, and it's a wonderful. If you can find that on YouTube, I highly recommend. Great anecdotes in there, especially if you're into the French Connection. Very, very cool. But Grasso talks about this guy because he's like, well, I was partners with the other really crazy New York cop. I think this guy really dusts Egan though, because this guy's real fucking crazy.
Love it.
But then, you know, I think maybe some things are going to charm you. So what we're going to watch here is a short film called John the Cop. It's 30 minutes, and it's set in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. That's where this all happens.
Beautiful.
And just shout out a pause, either one of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do an okay pause, and we'll do our best to narrate what we're seeing for those listening at home and the millions watching on YouTube. You'll be able to see it if you watch on YouTube.
And I suppose I have to say up front too, what we're going through here is one of our favorites, which is 1970s, 1980s New York. So you really have to think about how bad it is.
It's a nightmare.
It's really fucking bad, and it just so happens. The specific thing here is gangs in this part of Brooklyn, and
the corrupt cops.
And the corrupt cops.
Also a gang.
Yes, this is
Yes,
this is pre-Serpico stuff.
Yeah.
And they really have, you know, just like the hopelessness is written all over the city, as we discussed before, and it's a very bleak time. Possibly calling for extraordinary measures, which this guy will go to. And these gangs are straight up like out of the movies, like the Warriors. Like they're ridiculous.
They're colorful. Real characters.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
pisses.
But so let's just dive in. Here we go.
Okay.
So yeah, the first guy you're gonna hear bringing up comic books is the detective Grasso. We got terrible.
John the Cop.
Justice's Minds. So whoever edited this is probably an idiot.
He's out of a comic book. I mean, in reality, you know, John's like a comic book character. He's not anything real, you know what I mean? The only thing is, he is real.
It's a New York gang expert
Great.
who runs neighborhood martial arts schools that keeps kids off the street.
Oh, I love when they do a live video.
Here we go.
They definitely didn't get.
So that
licensing for
Grasso
that.
guy, by the way, after French Connection, then he helped with The Godfather. Him and the other cop from the French Connection, they were all doing Kojak, Mannix, all that fucking shit. Those guys moved to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And
Smart move.
Completely converted. And
That's the dream.
And they really were like running all that shit in the movie is true.
Yeah.
And they went straight to Hollywood. Like as soon as the movie came out,
You guys aren't gonna believe this shit.
Yeah.
they fucking retired. And one of the quick things I'm going to share from that French Connection thing. The French guy, the guy who's like actually running from the guy who's waving on the train, that real guy in real life went back to France and never did any time because he served with de Gaulle in the resistance against the Nazis, and he's like a fucking national hero there.
Yeah, just
so
get
the thing
blanket pardon for everything.
Yeah,
no extradition.
they like dude, just go to the country and we won't extradite you.
Good deal. It's like Napoleon.
On the run, don't know what we're running from.
Oh, nice shot of him standing tough in the corner.
So we're just seeing him with a bunch of 70s kind of gangs walking around.
Oh, it's on a rooftop.
Scampering. Quick feet.
Karate cop zaps gunman.
What did he zap him with?
Okay, now he's breaking 2x4s with his abdominal muscles.
Yeah.
Oh, then to be fair, they ran at him.
And the familia think he's okay. Some people want to kill him.
You ask anybody who's born and raised right here, they know that name. They know John Cop.
Gang members have been shot. Gang members have been killed. Gang members have been stabbed.
When I got involved with gangs, I was 12 years old. And as far as gangs in the neighborhood, there were about 20 that I could remember. Everywhere you went, every 5 blocks, 6 blocks, here and there, whatever direction was a different gang. And majority of the time, we had to spend it in the area where we picked out as our turf because if we stepped out of the boundaries, we would walk into another gang's turf and you would be taking a risk.
What gang were you involved in?
I was in the Assassinators.
So that gang is called the Assassinators.
Not a word?
Not a word.
That can't be good.
Which is like the Assassins would be such a fucking cool name.
Yeah.
And Aiders lets you know they're stupid.
Yes, unless they really like the Terminator, which hadn't come out yet.
No.
Yeah.
Them the Assassinators.
No, they just heard the word. They heard the word assassinate, and they thought the full word was assassinator.
Yeah.
I met John in 1982 when I became the commanding officer of the 72nd Precinct. John was an officer assigned into the precinct. And he was well known at the time. He was assigned to foot patrol, and that's where I met him.
Well, I went out that night. I was up on the roofs, and I don't know if you've ever been on a roof. At 4 o'clock in the morning in the summer, you can hear everything that's being said downstairs. I'm down there, and this blue Lincoln pulls up, and he meets with Medina, and they started talking. And
Medina.
I picked up the conversation that Medina was going to give him $5,000 down and $10,000 upon completion. There was a hit on me.
Oh, completion.
So I took the plate number, and I went into the department, and I told them, you know, Medina just bought a hit on me, you know, and they want to send the intelligence division and give a walkie-talkie to your mother, you know, protect you. You know, the intelligence division protects you. How do you protect me when you're sitting on your fucking ass in Manhattan on a desk? You know, that's a lot of shit. And
so he heard.
Hold on.
They said, well, you know, we want you to do this and we want you to do that until we can take care of this. I said, fuck you, I'll take care of this. And they said, we don't want you to take care of this. I said, good. Well, to make a long story short, that hitman lived in Williamsburg. Seems that one night he was coming out of his house and some ninja in black cut off all his fingers. Man with no fingers pulls no triggers.
So this guy,
holy fuck!
First of all, is on rooftops like Batman.
Yes,
that he's
listening like
he's listening
Daredevil.
He's listening to the city.
Yes,
and so he hears this and so Medina, I'm led to believe is a gang guy.
Yeah,
I'd assume so.
And so yeah, so he's everybody in the department is knowing about this too. Like this guy doesn't. His duty doesn't end when he goes home.
Yeah, no,
he's never
it just starts.
Yeah. Now he's a one-man war on crime.
Yeah,
and he is going around, and he goes and he's like, and I wouldn't wear masks, you know, to hide my face. He's like, it was just to blend in with the night.
Wait, and he's got a fucking superhero chin on him too.
It's crazy.
You can really take a beating with that.
I'm sorry, I cut you off when I was asking you to wait. What were you gonna say?
Well, so I was trying to just catch to figure out like why. So why are people paying $10,000 for him to get killed?
Because he's a fucking nuisance.
Oh no, yeah. No, so that's the thing you're gonna see is that this guy he's you know, he's not like we're saying, like the rest of the police department was crooked. Like this is maybe like the only non-crooked guy.
Yeah.
And but he's also very effective at putting them in jail. So he's inconvenient, and he's in the neighborhood where the gangs are. Like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, part of this whole one man war against crime is because like it's his street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I don't know if you've ever been on a rooftop at 4 a.m.
Matt, you're gonna need to stay open-minded in this one because I know you already have a hard-on for any cop, understandably. But
hard-on's not the right phrase.
Just give this guy a chance because
I like him already.
I know. I was like, me and Aaron have a taste for justice right now because of personal things.
Yeah.
And so this is a really nice story for you, Aaron.
Yeah, I don't know. Some ninja dressed in black cut off his fingers. I don't know.
Could have been anybody.
So
could he use a sword?
So right out the gate, in this movie, they're letting you know like.
Means business.
He's out of fucking control, and so the rest of the movie you're gonna be hearing from gang members, local citizens, guys with a pizza shop, the higher ups, partners of his, and let's just keep doing it.
We looked at John and respected him a lot more, not because of the badge, but because of the way he treated us.
Well, John, what you would have to know was a complete loner in the job. You know what I mean? What he did.
And how did his fellow police officers feel about his relationships with the gangs?
Right, some of them thought that he was doing a good job, and others looked at him like he was like a traitor to the police. That he was talking to these young people and what have you. So it was a mixed reaction.
I don't care what they say. I cleaned up them fucking streets and I made the neighborhood safe. And every time I put one of them
Say it.
gentlemen in jail, I felt good. Then I went home and had a good night's sleep. Every time I made the streets a little bit safer for the public and for the godchildren that I had on these streets now, I just slept a little better that night. I felt good.
So you say, like he's godfather to the kids now. And like the thing is that it's very much the carrot and the staff, because on one hand, like he's feeding the kids because it's like The Wire, Matt. It's like that thing of like 13, 14. You can have them go this way, and not go that way
if you catch him.
So he's trying to catch him young, and he's also showing them. Like if you go the other way,
you lose your fucking fingers.
Well, no, that's a guy that wants to kill him.
I know,
but the rest of the time he's just like I'm putting you in jail. And even some of those guys like him.
They call him Psycho Cop.
Psycho Cop.
He did things that people won't even believe. He was he's unreal. I really can't. I don't got no words to explain John the Cop.
John the Cop is and will be this legend.
You could interview some of the kids that are now adults, that they would tell you in very, very strong terms that their life was turned around by John Monneal. And I'm not talking about a few, I'm talking about dozens.
John.
So that's a very Irish cop. He pops up a lot in this thing, and he's clearly getting a kick out of it. But he's also able to see like the good side of him. But clearly, besides whether you agree with it or not, what he's doing, because like he said, some of the cops are viewing him as a traitor for trying to win the kids over. Why? Which is fucking
kids.
So, but also he's got to be a pain in the ass.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But the thing is about this too is that when he is coming into contact, with the brass, let's say the bosses, you got to remember at the time, it's like, dude, I'm willing to be a cop in New York.
Yeah,
like
that's enough.
That's enough. Like, there's not a lot of us. So, good luck. I'm too enthusiastic about the job.
John, I'm not used to calling him John. It's usually Shihan, Kiyoshi,
this is
or
the Black Belt Youth Coordinator.
Shidoshi was although he was very disciplined and very hard on the mat and straightforward fighting and although that was the class, after class, everything was relaxed. You could sit down, talk to him, and you could have a real good conversation with him, and he was, I don't know, like they say back in the old days, he was a homeboy.
It was about 20 years ago. I was about 17 years old, and on 46th Street between 6th and 7th in the Sunset Park area of Brooklyn, there was a karate school that opened up. And a friend of mine had said, this police officer opened up a school, I think you should come check it out. So, like I said, I went down there, I took a couple of classes, I got to liking the karate system, and I grew an attachment to John. It was almost like a father image.
So now they're in the dojo.
He loves karate.
This is his mother.
My Johnny is a terrific karate. I went to school to.
My Johnny's a terrific karate.
My mother, we all went, and he was breaking boards. And I yelled to the good people, that's why he's crazy. He hits the board on his head.
His mother was a very strong-willed person, by the way.
I'd say so.
Do you know her?
Well, yes, I know her very well.
So the mother's a pistol.
I would never get involved. Let them kill themselves, you know.
So this guy's very hard to understand, but he's a pizzeria guy, and the gist of what he's gonna say here is, the gang guys, everybody used to be like, stay out of it, let them kill each other. But instead, John's coming around, and he's buying them all pizza and shit, and he's talking to them like people, and then so the people on the street are watching this guy interface with, they're all terrified of the gangs, and then they see this cop sitting down with them, so they're all kind of like, what the fuck is this shit? So they were all like blown away.
Cut the guys, a little guy with dogs, I can't believe it, John always used to help everybody out, I guess a lot of the cops had it against him, what he used to do, I don't know.
His own police department disliked him for the way he did it.
This guy looks very Count Dante.
He does, yeah.
And this floral pattern chair he's in.
Hand-me-down.
Yeah.
This is in his mother's den.
Yeah.
But this guy really drops the fucking, the deal with John and the police department right here.
Because he would get dressed up in a ninja uniform after working hours. And his shift would go 4 to 12. He would go from 12 till 6 in the morning going after these gangs. And he would stop them. And they were afraid of him. They're still afraid of him today.
I don't like to see bad guys get over. That's serious. And if that makes me a psycho, then fuck it, I'm a psycho.
There was a gang over here on 26th Street and 4th Avenue. And
He's a partner.
what they did was basically taken over a couple of abandoned apartments there.
The gangs.
When I was speaking about John in the past, I may have make him sound like a social worker. That's not exactly what it was like then. They moved into a couple of abandoned apartments. The landlord, at the landlord's request, he had asked that we do something about this particular gang. We knew they were armed. They had rifles. They had whatever. I remember John going there on his own and basically going in to take this whole group out of there. I guess he was even going to talk them out of there, and they were not ready to leave. And I went there as a backup, and what ended up happening, we ended up with John arresting about 20 people. And then we didn't have any
So
way
he
to-
arrested 20 people armed with rifles in a building they had taken over.
Jesus Christ.
So how did he do it, though?
Exactly. Okay, Matt. Well, let's hear it. Come on. What do you got?
Well, I'm wondering.
No, I know.
I'm just hearing stuff he's done. But did he shoot anybody?
There's 23 more minutes left.
Never shot anybody.
Okay.
This guy never shot anybody.
So he just talked him out.
No. He said he went in there and got them. So he probably just had to get the drop on a couple of people with his handgun. But then ended up. But getting 20 people arrested, man. It's fucking impossible.
have any way to transport them into the station house, so we had to march them along 4th Avenue because we had too many and didn't have the number of cars there.
So cops have to come and drop their bracelets off to John the cop.
Ran out of fucking.
There's no paddy wagons, so he's got them in a chain gang going to jail. He's just marching them up the street in front of the whole neighborhood that they live in.
John would remember this incident a lot clearer than I do.
The best way to humiliate him was to kill that macho thing. So what I used to do is, I would call the radio cars, take all the cuffs from the other cops, cuff them together in a chain, and then sit on the back of a radio car and hold the front cuff and march him through the streets all the way down to the precinct. What everybody laughing at him and humiliate him.
I'm sure you didn't make many friends then when you did that.
I wasn't out to win a popularity contest with those guys.
All the guys cuffed together.
Yeah.
He was at the end. They were all marching on 4th Avenue. And one guy said to John, he says, John, right? They were all shackled. He says, this is humiliating. John says, you got it.
Well, the point wasn't to humiliate them. We had no other way of transporting them, and it was unsafe for us to stay at that particular location any longer, so we had to get them out of there. And walking them in was the only way at the particular time because we didn't have enough cars to bring them in.
It's not a pretty picture. I can't paint every single thing I went through the time I was in a gang, but there were some times when suicide was about the best way out. And thank God I was either too dumb or I just couldn't get a hold of something to do it with, that I didn't go through with it. But I mean, there are times when somebody really, really thinks about taking their lives because it looks like there's nothing else there for them.
And that wasn't just because of the gangs, though.
No, not because of the gangs. There's a lot of other things that could make a person come down. You get community rejection. You get maybe you ain't got nowhere to go for work or things like that. You're stuck. Mm-hmm. If you start thinking that there's nothing for you but what you're doing now, you kind of give up on yourself.
I used to take the gang members in here and buy them pizza and soda, and you'd be surprised how when they're sitting at a booth with you, out of uniform, and they're eating, they talk differently. They tell you things that they wouldn't tell you. Same guys sitting there in uniform, they wouldn't say. Same guys sitting there out of uniform, they tell you everything.
What kind of things would they tell you?
Oh, yeah. A lot of times they used to fight. They used to chase them inside the pizzeria. They used to come down there, with knife and guns. And, like sometimes I used to know them, There was a couple of guys, twin brothers, they used to call them on 49th Street. And I used to tell them, don't fight it, take it outside, fight outside, And they used to let them go, and they used to fight around the corner. Used to have shootouts, stabbing, all kinds of things.
So this guy's saying, basically, John got them out of his pizzeria. It was like, he was like, don't do it in here, basically. But yeah, these there would be guys that you just know, and he's on good terms with, and this guy's on good terms with. And part of the thing is too is that you got youth, right? And they got steam to blow off.
Mm-hmm.
And so his thing is, come into my dojo.
Yeah.
Blow off the steam.
Yeah, get some discipline.
And then you're keeping them out of the street. And he's really mainly just like worried about them, because like, I think he was almost like, as long as you're not ruining anybody's lives, like, I get being a rowdy kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then when bystanders and shit like that's when it's like, now it's cop time. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, they like whether they're in a gang or not, he's just trying to get you to do something positive with your life.
Yeah.
But he's also aware of like, these kids do kind of need to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just in them. You know what I mean? The thing was, this YouTube video is filled with comments from ex-gang members that John turned around and he goes, and I told him I couldn't afford his fucking dojo, and he goes, if you bring me your report card and it's good, it's free.
Wow.
So, he's doing that kind of shit, and
Sons of the Bat.
Dude, yeah. I mean, and then the thing is that in his way, he's creating his own gang.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. And then the gang guys in the YouTube comments are going like, also the guys that came out of that dojo, gang guys didn't fuck with those guys. Because now they know how to fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a rumble. Mm-hmm. Like, you've learned legit karate.
Yeah.
And his style of thing is like, okay, let's pretend this is the subway.
Yeah.
Like, you two jump on him. Like, okay, now 6 of you attack one. Like, he's teaching them, like, realistic fight scenarios. People don't fight fair,
I've teach you how to engage 6 men. Now I can teach you to engage 600.
Now I can teach you to marry one.
I think they love me. I think about 90% of the community love me.
Let's talk about the business owners.
Because I stopped their burglaries, and I stopped their rip-offs, and I stopped, the shootouts in the middle of the street. So I think they liked me. They all said they did.
I don't like him myself. Some people in the familia think he's okay. Some people want to kill him.
I got a reputation probably being...
So he just said some people in La Familia think he's all right. Some people want to kill him. And La Familia is one of the big gangs in the neighborhood. The Assassinators, all these names also, the guys in the comments are dropping the names of all the gangs.
Yeah.
It's great.
The biggest scumbag fucking cop in the city. But with who? With the people I locked up, with the bad guys, with my enemies. And how many of them get out of jail, come into school, shake my fucking hand, tell me I did him a favor?
2 brothers were the leaders of the Maceteros. Right. The twins.
Yeah, that's right.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Wow.
So this guy is one of those guys that pizza guy was just saying used to go around the corner and do stabbings and shootouts and shit.
Wow, same here.
How's your brothers?
Same here. Well, one of them is locked up, like usually. Doesn't stay out of jail. The other one went up to get a new life in North Carolina. Married, has children, staying up there. As a result of my insanity, all the years in Sunset Park, I'm coming up on 2 years drug-free.
Oh, great.
I'm trying to do the right thing for once in my life.
So how do you know John?
John was the neighborhood cop when I was going to junior high school in Dewey.
And how did you feel about him?
He tried to look out for all the youth that were growing up in Sunset Park, and he tried to do the right thing. At the time, I had a club called the Non-Stop Dancers, where there was a lot of shooting and a lot of illegal guns and stuff, and John busted me for that. And for having young kids play hooky and come into that club that was supposed to be a dance club, and it turned out to be a gang club. But John was really on the tail. We had a young kid that blew off his fingers with a sort of shotgun, and this was in the process.
So you're getting all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, he's this is one of the guys he busted.
Yeah.
And basically he just goes on to say, like
turn my shit around.
Yeah, and he was always trying to, it sounds like there's some guys who, they don't, they're too far gone, basically, and I think he's kind of one of them, but now he's
2 years sober.
Yeah.
Process of fighting with other gang members from the neighborhood.
So how do you feel that John had an influence in your life?
A great influence.
Can you tell me about that?
The influence that John had in my life was that I was doing the wrong thing, but because of the different folks that I hung out with, I thought I was doing the right thing. And John always tried to lead us to the right thing, you understand? Good, positive things. Karate, getting things to keep the youth out of the street.
Like this, right? And what does this do, gentlemen? It pushes the 2 fingers into the esophagus and chokes you more.
So he's showing the dojo how to...
But how about if you pray?
Break a
chokehold. Pray like this and step back. See how you pull off balance? All right? And he can't choke you when you're doing this and stepping back, and then you pull it in. All right? And then you can kick him or pop his eardrums.
He did in the martial arts what everybody is supposed to do. And all the old masters did. In the Far East, they helped people. They gave of their time. They gave of their money. They helped people. They helped their students. He's the pure example.
So that is an obvious Irish Catholic martial arts guy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what he says there is, like, fucking pretty heavy shit. You know what I mean? He's going like, he's like the senseis of old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is, like, kind of like the fun part of the video where you're going like, it's fuck, man. Like, what's making this guy tick here, You're not going to see any women, really. You see his mom. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he's living with his fucking mother the whole time.
Yeah.
He might be.
And he might be that kind of guy.
His mom's is Alfred.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They're talking about, he said when the hit was out on me, they wanted to give her a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Master Wayne. Medina's on.
He's flying on rooftops.
You can go around and cut off all the fingers you like.
It's not going to bring your father back.
Unless he's from the village and he's a bad dude.
Instead of having an organization with he has a family. You see?
So now they're showing all the guys.
A friend of mine says,
good dudes.
Any organization can be split apart, but a family can't be split. You can't.
You could interview some of the kids that are now adults, that they would tell you in very, very strong terms that their life was turned around by John Moneill. And I'm not talking about a few, I'm talking about dozens.
But you mean Rumble-wise?
Yeah.
Well, we will meet the president.
So this is the Assassinators guy, and he's going to describe the rules to Rumble, okay, with another gang.
Presidents, the leaders will meet with the rival gang. We will make the rules, what to bring to the Rumble, how we're going to fight, what time it's going to take place. And we will meet down there. But like I said, no guns, no knives. It's just the best beating you can give the other guy without trying to kill him.
That's not so bad.
That's it. Run towards each other and a good 15-minute fight.
Run towards each other. So they agree on weapons or no weapons, and then they basically say, we're going to go at it as hard as we can for 15 minutes. It's all very regulated.
That's pretty cool, They probably they have a starting position. They run full speed.
We're the Assassinators, but we don't.
No, we don't want to kill anybody.
Right. Well, it's a clever name.
Now, was there a purpose to this? Was there some sort of territory or something involved?
Sometimes it was territory-wise. Sometimes it was respect-wise. Sometimes it was just like maybe one of us got too bored.
It was a Saturday night. I came in Sunday morning.
So what we got here is a New York Post reporter. So he's about to drop
clever headline on us.
He's about to drop one of those events that happen in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Where it's a major tragedy.
Made the checks, and they said a young child, I think he was 8 years old at the time, was shot during crossfire. And of course, there's always a public outcry when an innocent child is killed, especially when it's, between two gangs. And that time then the city, through City Hall and, the bosses at One Police Plaza, they turned on the heat and they wanted to put an end to these, problems. And of course, if you're going to do gangs and you're going to do Sunset Park, you're going to run into John Menil.
I was home watching television. The news came on, big shootout, 5th Avenue and 52nd Street. 8-year-old kid standing at a bus stop waiting for a car service with his mother, got hit in the neck and dies.
8-year-old.
And I said, 52nd and 5th, familiar. Bang. I call the 6-8, the chief is there. He says, come in, Menil. I go in. He says, what do you think? I said, familiar. Their clubhouse is on 52nd and 6th. It's got to be familiar. There's above the shoe store, there's a dance, where they run parties. FMDs were up at a party. Not armed, just up at a party. This is what turned out. Familia sees them. They run up to the clubhouse, get the guns, and they're shooting these guys, and this kid gets it with a shotgun slug through the neck. 8 years old kid. Nothing to do with this fucking bullshit. So now I pick up all the familia.
Nothing to do with this fucking bullshit. It's such a good fucking phrase. Nothing to do with this fucking bullshit.
Innocent bystander.
Yeah.
I'll translate that for you. This kid's got nothing to fucking do with this.
It's so good.
Up all the familias, who all happened to be in bed that night.
So he rounds them up,
according to their mothers and their friends. I watch those guys every night. They never go to bed before 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, But that night, everybody went to bed. All right. I don't arrest them. I say, listen, this happened. I want you in the precinct with me because I'm doing an investigation. I'm not violating anybody's rights. See, I'm doing it right. And I got 8 familiars in the precinct, in a room, eating pizza and soda on me, waiting to see where this goes, and then I put this thing together. They're writing, the A comes down. I get witnesses who finally say, fuck these gangs, because the neighborhood would never testify against the gangs. They were totally frightened of them. I get witnesses who finally say, this is bullshit. They're testifying against the gangs. And the DA says to me, can you pick these guys up? I said, yes. She said, how long is it going to take? I said, 30 seconds. She said, what are you talking about? I said, they're all in a room there. She said, don't tell me you lock them up, violated this. So, no, they're not here under arrest. They're here as my guests eating pizza and soda. 7 of them are right there that you want. This one you're going to let go. You're going to pick him up again because you're going to find out he was involved. And it's up to, they let him go. The next day, I had to go pick him up. It turns out all 8 are convicted for one crime. All 8 do heavy time. CO was seen by witnesses having a shotgun, so we figured his shotgun sluggers would kill the kid. So he was 14 years old, but he got the most time.
14.
I think he's in like 15 years now. He's the one in jail saying, I'm going to kill that fucking motherfucker when I get out of jail. I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him. They're all going to kill me. They're all going to kill me, but walk down 5th Avenue, they all, hey, John, the cop, you know what a favor you did me when you locked me up? Everybody wants to kill you, but now they're all shaking my, what, are they going to kill me by shaking my hands? Until they melt me or what? So they're going to kill me. You don't want to know. That's another thing. When my number's up, it's up.
So, I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive. He's just like, all right, come on, we got to talk. And then in the meantime, it's like the witnesses are like, all right, a fucking 8-year-old, and now we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, little package, just here you go. That's them. But also, it's because he's watching. He knows where the hideouts are. He knows where they meet. He knows what
kind of pizza they like.
What gang at what intersection. All these comments in the YouTube, everybody drops an intersection. People are like, yeah, 45th and 5th, like all that shit. But yeah, I mean, he's just really on the fucking ball, And the thing is that, yeah, for the most part, like, yeah, you don't have to be a fucking brain surgeon. Like, who's out shooting, shotguns like idiots in this part of town? And you go like, oh, that's their thing.
Yeah.
That's the only gang that's allowed there. That's what they fight about.
Yeah.
Whose territory is whose, you know?
Deputy Chief of Patrol Borough Brooklyn South, which encompasses 13 precincts. If you look over on the map here, if you look just below the 7-7, those 13 precincts on the lower half is known as Patrol Borough Brooklyn South. For the purposes of police administration, that's a borough. You've got about 15 or 20% Asian. I think 8th Avenue has now the largest Asian community outside of Chinatown. In fact, in numbers, I think there are more Asians in that section of 7-2. And then, of course, you have Greenwood Cemetery there.
So it's a very diverse neighborhood, and has been as long as I've been here. Sunset Park is predominantly Hispanic. And it runs, when I say Hispanic, it runs the range from all different Spanish backgrounds, from Puerto Rican to Colombian to Mexican to whatever Spanish country you can imagine. We have somebody from Sunset Park.
When we come back, one man can and did and does make a difference.
Cop Talk.
Cop Talk.
Behind the Shield with the French Connection cop, Sonny Grasso.
Sonny Grasso.
I worked with a psycho for about 14
doing
years.
that voiceover?
Eddie Egan. I mean, everybody in the world called Eddie a psycho.
So you saying his partner Egan from the French case, like, everybody called him a psycho, and they did, and they said it was again. This guy said he treated everybody bad.
Yeah.
He goes, bosses, civilians, actors, it doesn't matter. Everybody gets equal treatment. Like shit. Yeah. But this guy, obviously, but yeah, both of them, like I said, huge career in fucking film. But then he's just this, Grasso guy is also, on the job so long that he's telling one of these other stories, he's got an interest in it, and that's gonna play a role. Let's say the whole like Egan Popeye, the character. They said when they busted the French Connection case, they said they came down and they were like, listen, you didn't do something with the Manhattan DA. You only went through the Brooklyn DA. So he's like, this fucking case better be like all fucking T's crossed. Mm-hmm. And, he's like, there's more news reporters waiting outside than has ever been in New York police history because of this case. And you got a DA really mad at you. And he goes, and I go back, Grasso goes back to Popeye and he tells him, and he goes, I think I want Paul Newman to play me. He just disregards like how much trouble they're gonna be in, and he instantly knows
this is gonna be
the movie. It's a movie. So
got Gene Hackman, which is nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And Gene Hackman is a fucking asshole in that movie.
Yeah, he is. What, are you picking your feet? You pick your feet.
That was a real thing he did. Yeah. That was all that shit's real.
Yeah, just talking weird shit just to throw people off their game.
Yeah, you said Grasso was like, he was like the guys basically would be like, just don't convict me of rape in Poughkeepsie. I'll tell you anything else you want to know. Yeah. But this guy's really mad about the guys picking his feet in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
So
I think you become a psycho.
This is Grasso.
Or at least labeled as a psycho, because certainly John is not a psycho, and certainly Eddie is not a psycho. But you become labeled as a psycho when you believe in something so strongly that's not so much detrimental to what everybody else believes in, but that you're willing in your belief of this thing is to do something about it. John didn't like the decimation that took place in the neighborhood. He didn't like the complete degradation that took place. He didn't like the disrespect that the kids were having in the neighborhood for people, for elders, for each other. And Eddie didn't like drug addicts, and he didn't like drug sellers. And I think that Eddie went in a fanatical way to do something about that. And John...
So that's Egan, playing a superior in the movie. They
in
snuck
a
them both
fanatical
in.
way, went to do something about what he felt was oppressive. And I think, I don't mean fanatical that it is fanatical. We tend to think it's fanatical if they do something that we wouldn't do.
He was headed for trouble. He went into the service.
He signed himself in the service.
And when I was in the Army, they used to pick on me, and then, call out, the company comes out, forms a circle, they put the gloves on, and you fight. I used to kick the shit out of everybody. You know the deal, I call the number, whoever got the number is gonna attack you, right? That's cool. Second!
So now this is the shit where he's showing you, like,
Yummy!
about two people attacking you.
Yummy! 43!
He just calls out numbers and then they just go at it.
One, two! Yummy! 127, hit him.
127, hit him.
I said hit him, I didn't say kill him.
So yeah, it's just fucking a controlled rumble inside his dojo.
When I went to go on the police department, I was supposed to get appointed in 1961. The whole class got appointed and I didn't get appointed. 2 years went by. And I called the department of personnel and went down there. I said, how the fuck come everybody got appointed and I didn't? What's going on?
How the fuck come?
Well, there's a little thing here, like your military records say, this man, if provoked, will lose his temper to a point where he would physically kill a man with his hands.
So do you think that that's why you have a lot of anger?
I don't have anger. That's the whole point. People mistake. I don't have anger. You think I do what I do out of anger? If I did what I did out of anger, there'd be an awful lot of people in the fucking hospital. I never shot anybody. I never kicked the shit out of anybody. Didn't pick their fucking hands up to me first.
Oh, and I said to the guy, park the fucking car. He said, Mayor's car. I said, are you a cop? He said, no, I'm a...
So now this is him being interviewed at home, and he's talking about the mayor is in the neighborhood. The mayor of New York. It was Mayor Lindsay at the time. And he's parked illegally. He's inside doing some shit.
He said, no, I'm a city motor vehicle operator. Park the fucking car, I'm gonna write it. He didn't park it, I wrote it.
He gave
so
the mayor a
I
ticket.
get? I get promoted. I swear.
Gets promoted.
No.
Immediately after writing the mayor a ticket. But
We're like 3 weeks later, a month later, I get called down for an interview for plain clothes. The biggest tit job in the city of New York that you had to have a hook like this to get into. I just wasn't smart enough to realize I was being fucking set up. Let's face it, who can trust a cop who don't take money? I just wouldn't take the envelopes. I was told if you don't take it and we go down, you're going down with us anyway. We're gonna tell them that you took it too. I said, well, I have to take the chances. They had a code in those days that was phenomenal. You don't take money from DOAs.
Dead body.
If you find a dead body in the house, you don't loot the house. You don't take money if you find a guy in the street. You don't take drug money. You never take drug. Gambling money's clean. We're not doing anything bad here. We're skimming a little gambling money. It's clean. It's not dope.
Serpico is showing.
Before Serpico, the whole plainclothes division was corrupt, wasn't it? The precincts were getting a nut. The borough, the division, everybody was on. Everybody was taking bread.
Was Serpico on the tape?
In my opinion, yes. I think that he got caught. They gave him immunity to prosecution. And then it just mushroomed. They made him a fucking hero. Never trusted another cop. Cops that wanted to talk to me, they knew the deal and we were friendly. And the guys that didn't, to me, they were just jealous. And I used to tell them, if you're jealous, gentlemen, do what I do, then you don't have to be jealous. Don't make it an 8-hour day, an 8.5-hour day. Give it a concerted effort. Give it 4 or 5 hours of your own time. Go out to the community. Instead of taking a kid a radio car down to the piers and beating his ass, take him out and buy him a pizza. Talk to him. You might get over. You might just find out that there's human beings out there besides us.
John Manille was an unusual...
So you kind of get the idea here, right? Nobody really likes him. He doesn't have like basically any friends, except the gang guys.
Yeah.
Like the kids coming to the dojo.
Yeah.
The cops fucking hate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is obviously a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't know how to treat people like humans.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like, they're looking at them like aliens too, and then they're looking at him like a collaborator.
Well, they're looking at him like villains, like people that they have to stop.
Exactly.
Everything they do
Exactly.
is evil. Even if they think they're doing something good, it's in service of evil. So they have to stop them, and he's collaborating with them.
Right. And then the other thing is, too, is that, it's just because he's so involved, and he's letting you know, like, hey, man, I don't want to put you in jail. Yeah. I do not want to do it. But I will do it. And otherwise, like, yeah, fucking come to the dojo. Come to the pizzeria. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, if you give, in some cases, if you give somebody
a chance,
a chance, or like a good part of it one day, it can. A lot of these kids,
you never forget it.
They're waiting for an opportunity
to do good, dying to do good. A lot of kids are dying to do good because then, if not, basically what that guy from the Twins was saying was he goes like, now I'm trying to do good for a guy that sucks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, the father figure I got is a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, man, go rob that store. Or, like, fucking let's saw off these shotguns and then,
blow some fingers off.
Yeah. Can we take a quick break? We only got 5 minutes of this left, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll have a little chat.
I love chat.
And we'll be right back, folks. And we're back.
Hi.
J-Boys. See, Matt, this is the only way I knew I could probably salvage this guy for you. Because I was like, Matt's going to be hating this cop guy. He's going to be going, oh, what's he doing in there? I knew he was going to do all this shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess they don't explain it.
Well, they did now.
I mean...
You got to watch it.
But now, listen, here's the deal. Cops hate him. He hates the politicians. Mm-hmm. He hates them. And the gangs and the people on the street love him. So, I mean, as far as cops go, man, I think this guy's kind of the guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's certainly better than, everybody's dealing with.
Still not ready. He's still not ready to win him over. You know what I mean? What do we got to do? What do we got to fucking do?
Let's see what the next 5 minutes show us.
Yeah, you might like this. You might like this, man. I think you might like where this is going because it goes to a very interesting...
police officer. Long before community policing became the vogue in New York City, John was the essence of community policing. He identified with the community that he worked in. In those days, the larger portion of the precinct was predominantly Hispanic. And that was the area that he had his beat, or his post, as we used to call them in those days. And he became very, very involved with the youth. He ran a karate school in the neighborhood, and he attracted a lot of the kids that were borderline cases from going towards the life of criminality, and steered them into a more productive way of life.
You'd be surprised if a kid has somebody to talk to, how their whole, everything just changes. The problems that they think that are really serious, just by talking to somebody, gone. I never had that when I was a kid. I really didn't have anybody to talk to. I used to stand in the mirror and talk to myself and say, you know what you did today? You're a bad guy, But really, that would probably be my final thing. The Golden Eagle Youth Center would be the ultimate goal. And I wouldn't give a fuck if I was broke after I opened it.
It was fun.
So now we're getting to what he wants, because now basically what he wants to do is open up a youth center, and then have it survive on donations. Mm-hmm. So this is like the legacy of John the Cop. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He wants it to be like just a place for kids to go and do karate and play basketball and shit. All right?
It's funny, back in the days when John wrote the script and what have you, and there was a whole group that used to... Sometimes he would have to elicit the help of a lot of other officers because the guy had gone really bad, and he was, and once they'd do the favor for John, he'd say, you'll be in my movie, and then a month later, he'd have an argument with him, he'd say, you're out of it, you're out.
This is also like exactly the kind of thing, like, I love this Irish guy so much, because that kind of sense of humor, you know what I mean, is very much like my family. Yeah. People saying like, I'm doing a movie, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out, you know what I mean? This is like pretty much my grandfather right here. This is basically Pat.
You're out of the movie, maybe a walk-on part, but definitely not anything to say. You'll have nothing to say.
And that's my opinions, and anybody who disagrees with them, and if I offended anybody with anything I said, fuck you, I meant it. I've optioned my life story to fucking 3 major studios already. And I've sat with their writers, and we've written it.
and it's good. And then a studio head gets it and says, well, I don't like this, and change this, and do this, and then the writer gets it back and does 6 weeks worth of rewrites, then they turn it in and this thing sucks. Studio heads don't know how to rewrite screenplays. Why don't you leave the fucking things alone? They are insecure fucking people. They are so afraid of making a mistake that they're gonna lose their fucking job or something. They're a bunch of fucking morons. The people that I met in this business that run the studios are assholes. And then tell me, well, we have to change it because there's too much controversy. You knew the controversy. Why the fuck did you buy it? You knew the controversy that was involved in my life story. Then why the fuck did you buy it? Now you're going to tone it down. You're going to do it this way, and you're going to do it that way, and you're going to put in things that I never did, and you're making me look like some fucking comic book Superman that can't change it to his outfit anymore because there's no more fucking phone booths, because that's what it boils down to, and it's not my life story anymore. And it doesn't explain anything about me. It's violence and action and bullshit. That's all it is.
See, that's good.
Yeah, you're into that sort of thing. Yeah. It's so here's the thing I'm kind of realizing too, right? Is that the guy is the cliche of the Dirty Harry type of that time. He's fighting with the bosses. Everybody's scum, including the politicians, of course. But no, not really, not even, because he's on the side of the criminal elements, shall we say, or the criminal, where they're getting the community from. But you know, he's definitely the rogue cop. He does do, like, people would be mad. He did arrests out of his precinct,
right?
And he goes like, it doesn't say this precinct on my badge. It says City of New York.
Right.
So he's like,
right.
He's like, oh, you know. But they also know he's doing shit off and the bosses would send word down. They'd be like, I'm going to break you. Like, you will not,
because I did your job for you.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. But they can't stand the disrespect.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in the you know, go back to The Wire. He's adding work that other people have to take on. He's adding numbers to other precincts. He's adding shit that they have to go like.
Yeah, but they're good numbers.
No. But like the arrest is one thing, but it doesn't mean that solves, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Someone, the other precinct still has to deal with it.
Yeah. It's a bunch of guys not wanting to do work.
Exactly. Yeah. Or that could have been a grift that they wanted.
Yeah. Exactly. It might have been a payoff thing. All right, we only got 2 minutes left. So the movie thing kind of came out of nowhere. It really fucking tickled me. But also, I know that, you know, Grasso and Egan and those guys, they were like, cops come up to us all the time. They're like, I became a cop because of that movie. You know what I mean? And a guy like this, theoretically, might have just always seen that trope of, you know, the rogue cop that really believes in it, and then just fucking got in because, like, he was like, I want to be that cop.
Right.
You know? So it's very... It's so funny how, you know, he's talking shit about it being comic booky, but Grasso at the beginning goes, he is out of a comic book.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I want to do? Really? You know what my biggest ambition is? I want to make a lot of money. I want to go down to 3rd Avenue and buy a warehouse and open up a youth center. And take all these kids off the streets and give them martial arts and basketball and everything, and see if donations can support it once I open it. That would be the final accomplishment. That's the thing that I really would love to do, even if I had to do it with my own money. You know why? Because the kids are the future of this world.
John.
So that's it. That's the deal, man.
I believe that the children are our future.
Yeah.
Still.
Teach them well and let them lead the way. So this was uploaded about 9 years ago. And
but it was shot like 20 years ago.
If not longer.
Well, it's hard. It's sort of hard to tell because
it's definitely shot on a handy cam of like with one camera.
And there's clearly some times where like the guy is like keeping the camera out of his face, but he's talking to him like while he's drinking, and that's when he starts. You know, you can see he's like he's got his cup with ice and shit like that. He's smoking cigarettes, and like I said, I was going like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I was like, the mother's involved. I was like, you know. I was like, I'm not seeing any women around here.
Certainly not.
However,
but a lot of strong male friends.
Yes, but then deep down there somewhere in the comments, somebody goes,
John fucked me.
No.
What?
No. He says. Thankfully, he didn't say that because it's his grandson.
Oh. Well, I don't know who said it.
All right.
I thought maybe they would, give us a hint on. Okay, go on.
Well, he has a grandson, so
cool.
He's presumably not gay or preying on preying on young men in the dojo, which is good.
I didn't say he was.
Well, okay. But so I reached out to him and I said, hey, if he's around, he wants to talk. Fucking.
Who, the grandson?
Yeah, I reached out to the grandson.
Because John's dead.
No. He said he was alive. That was about 2 months ago.
Oh, dude, we gotta talk to John the cop.
I would love. I mean,
and or his grandson.
I'm sure the stories are legion. And there's a lot that probably and if he really is still trying to get the
youth center,
get the rec center, and get the movie sold, then. Maybe we can push it a little bit here,
Help him out with that.
What were there comments? I imagine there were a lot of comments of people being like, "Oh, I knew John," or blah blah.
A lot of them, yeah.
Anything memorable? Anything?
Well, the guy whose fingers he cut off probably did speech to text.
Yeah, he's left-handed now.
I think he cut off all of them.
Yeah, he didn't say who did it. It was just some guy in a black outfit.
Ninja cut off this guy's fingers.
Yeah.
But.
So this guy, Ricky Eric, says, I remember John the cop. I officially only met him face-to-face once. I had a friend who went to his karate school, and he always hung out in my junior high school. Dewey, Junior High School 136.
Nice.
One time, 3 kids jumped me at my school, and my mom went down, and I was taken out of my class and brought to the dean's office, and there was the dean, my mom, and John the cop. There he was with his shoes off, but had such a presence. So
shoes off?
Because he's in karate mode.
Oh.
He sent me out into the street with 2 big-ass guys to look for the punk who him and two of his friends beat me up. I was 12 then. I'm 52 now, but I do believe if we found that guy, John would have done something to him.
Oh, my God.
And he told my mom I could go to his school for nothing.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. I never did go, but that was so nice of him. My husband was from Sunset Park when he was a kid, born and raised. He told me how John, back in the late 70s, had offered him an opportunity to get free karate lessons just to get him off the streets. My husband was not a bad guy, but he was young, lived with his mom on 44th Street, between 5th and 6th, right across from the street from the park, and he was influenced by his environment. The gangs were in full effect and had their influence on the youth. My husband was no exception. My husband would visit the karate school on the Avenue because he admired the arts, and to this day, so much appreciated what John offered. Although my husband, Angel, did not join the school, he was so impacted by John's influence and genuine care for the youth that he, my husband, never did join the gangs. And today, despite his upbringing, is a successful man in his own right. Thank you, John. I do not know John, but because of the stories that my husband has told me about John in the neighborhood, I would love to see a movie.
So sweet.
Yeah, but 3 studios on it, so they won't release it until another studio makes it.
This just spoke to Mr. John. He's a very sweet man. He cares a lot about animals and children. I really enjoyed our conversation. It's amusing to see what an impact he had on those around him. This guy, people just talking about him always talking to the kids in the neighborhood and going to the dojo. And I mean, it's fucking crazy. Like, the comments are just filled with all people that knew him and were affected by him and can speak to it. Like, that Irish cop isn't fucking just blowing smoke. Like, the receipts are here,
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing, like, everybody who is in a gang is conditioned that the cops are gonna fuck you. So even if they're acting nice to you, they're gonna try to fuck you in some way.
Well,
and then when the guy doesn't, when he is just having this conversation, all of a sudden you have to challenge your worldview.
Right.
And then you go, okay, well, this guy.
Well, that's the thing too, though, right? Because there's some of those things in The Wire, right? Like
a lot of those
with like Bodie, let's say. So part of the thing is like, all right, you'll talk to me, but also like you still know the game is the game. So like I'm trying to get you, you're trying to not get caught.
Right.
So you also can't be stupid. And let things slip.
You take your moments. You go, okay, I'll take a fucking hamburger from you.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell you shit, but I'll be like, hey, take me to the park.
But that's kind of the thing, you know what I mean? Is like it's more about knowing like who's mad at who, like where intent comes from and stuff like that. It's not about I'm buying this pizza just to get you to fucking confess to a murder. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's more about just like having your ear to the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the best way to get your ear to the street is
talking to people. Yeah.
And he's also
beer and soda's cheap.
Yeah. And he's beating the gangs at their own game, which is getting the youth.
Yes.
And if you can offer something that's slightly less scary.
Yeah, like that one guy saying like I would have preferred to kill myself. and then it, like, you know, John.
Not a hard thing to beat.
Yeah.
You know, if the life that you're in right now is so bad that you're considering suicide, like, you know, it's not that hard to offer a plausible alternative.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And still one that blows off steam. Mm-hmm. Like, these kids got to blow off steam. They're coming from bad homes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want to feel tough.
They live in a rough neighborhood. But like you said, man, for the most part, people are dying to do good, man. They really are. I mean, I completely believe that. Yeah. And they just need a gentle nudge in any direction.
Yeah, especially when they're young.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very least they're dying to not do bad. You know,
right,
that eats at your soul.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. But that's what I'm saying, though, is like doing bad can seem like it's good when it's, you know, a guy...
in service of an authority figure.
Yeah. So, you know...
the game is the game, and it's like, well, it doesn't have to be. You're conditioning everybody to follow the rules.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure it had to be a thing too, where the gangs also know, like, cops hate this guy. Mm-hmm. You know, doctors don't even get him started.
Oh my god!
But
he'll make you come in 30 seconds,
even without any fingers.
But yeah, I mean, I just this was sent to me by Austin.
Thank you, Austin,
friend of the show who went to the Tiki Adult Theater with his blushing bride.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to find out more.
Yeah, if I got Laura on some research, so we could possibly have a part 2 about this, especially if I get in touch with the grandson. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I was just, you know, like I was just fucking blown away by it. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you've ever been on a rooftop before.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So that's him. He's in fucking Batman mode then.
Like, he's wearing his cop outfit too.
In those photos.
In those videos, but he's talking about 4 a.m.
Oh, maybe he put
he's in his ninja suit.
He's in his ninja shit.
Studio, okay.
And I mean, oh my god, can you imagine, like, just knowing he's out there?
That's half of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's and he knows what time you go to bed.
Yeah, and he knows.
He's like, it's never before 4 o'clock in the fucking morning.
He knows if you've been good or bad.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does. Yeah. And the thing is that, you know, he is generous, but, like, it is crazy that a guy like that survived staying in the neighborhood.
Incredible.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he's probably, you know, there's something about being so in the open. You know, I think there's being so public. There's probably some safety in that. He might have been, like, it seems like the cops might have been more dangerous to him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the closest he gets to getting fucked, is when the mayor tries to make an example out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, how brilliant a maneuver is that? I'm going to put you in the dirtiest unit in Cop Hood because you're such a do-gooder.
Yeah.
That is so fucking nefarious.
He gives him a plainclothes job, which seems cushy, but it's taking him off the street.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually making the city worse, too, which is a great move by the mayor.
I'm going to give you a high-paying plainclothes job.
Yeah. And the mayor, like, ticketing the mayor and then just being like, the mayor being like, I'm going to make you a fucking priority now. Like, I am going to fuck you over. So, like, what's the deal with this guy?
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with the mayor, huh?
That is of course, the real question.
It's like the beginning of Hot Fuzz. Remember Hot Fuzz?
I haven't actually seen Hot Fuzz.
Oh, it's great. Well, like, Nicholas Angel, Simon Pegg, he's a super cop, right? He's a super cop in London. And so, like, he's making everybody look bad because he's doing, like, their job for them.
Yeah.
And so they send him to this town in the country that's like the safest town in England or whatever, but you know, and other shit happens, but
yes,
it's, hey, we're setting you up in a nice cushy easy job but it's not really, it's a setup.
Yeah, it's because you're fucking with us.
Yeah. It's a really great story.
Yeah, there's some of the other gangs besides the Assassinators was the Turban Saints.
Cool.
That's a pretty cool one.
Okay.
You know, not great for a t-shirt. Maybe it is good for a t-shirt.
It's so wild how people just, like, are showing up and being like, dropping the gang names, dropping the street corners. Like, everybody mentions an intersection in this thing.
Well, it's New York.
Yeah. It's so
in
crazy.
LA we mentioned a Trader Joe's. That's how you.
Pat Brennan passed away. Poor guy. That's what John would say. She says, "You're out of the movie now."
You're in. You're out.
You're out. Maybe a walk-on thing, but you're definitely out.
No speaking role.
No speak. Jesus Christ.
Got nothing to fucking do with nothing.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, there's a few people that talk a little shit. One guy just comments, he lies. It's like, well,
Okay.
Yeah, it's always
okay.
strong argument there.
Done.
Well, debate team worked.
the Dirty Ones, the toughest gang in Sunset Park,
The dirty ones.
and the chapter from Williamsburg ran by Tank Sunset Park leaders, Dirty Ones, Twin and Chino, the best gang in all Sunset Park.
Cool. You know they're like,
They're real good gangbangers when they're on YouTube.
yeah, and also their name is the Dirty Ones.
Yeah, we did Dirty Ones.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know. I hope.
I love this guy. I'd love to find out more about
Yes, Jeff.
Yeah,
very
yeah,
interesting.
We got to get in touch.
And I mean, it would make a great movie. It's a far better movie than The French Connection.
I mean, French Connection is pretty good.
Pretty good
fucking
movie,
Friedkin, of course.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. But I'm saying, like, the story itself is like unbelievable.
Right. Well, he doesn't have that big bust. That's the thing in The French Connection. It all leads to this.
Dude, he makes the fucking guys chain gang down the neighborhood.
Right. No, that's good.
Yeah, and
That's absolutely good.
And it's a thing where it's like, now you're embarrassed, and now you're thinking twice about it, and now you might show up at the dojo. Like, the whole thing is far, far, far more wholesome. For a guy named Psycho Cop,
Yeah,
nobody gets shot. Nobody gets shot.
It's very wholesome.
It's very, yeah.
Though, as they do in that, his partner does note in the scene, he says, well, it wasn't to humiliate them, we just didn't have
It just happened
cars.
to be humiliating.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, but also you did get got by a cop when you outnumbered him 20-1.
Yeah.
So
you got.
Yeah. So and now he's very happy that the department doesn't have the resources because he's
Now
very
gets
conga line. This is a fucking 20-person collar he did alone is fucking insanity. You know?
Sure.
And again, no shots. Like, we live in an era now where it's like, to me, those are the psycho cops. People shooting fucking just at anything
Unarmed
happening.
people on their knees. Yeah.
Well, I mean, today, they would have just bombed the building.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, this guy, they call him a psycho, and it's like, I don't know, man. He seems like pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, because he's a psycho because he's not adhering to normal cop action.
Well, right.
It's crazy. This guy's crazy. He's not robbing people.
Yeah, he's not doing it to, like, I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of flex there. There's some.
Sure, but he's not taking the envelopes,
He's not taking
that makes other cops nervous.
He's not taking the envelopes, and then, like, the whole rest of his time, he's donating it to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know he's got the studio in the community. I don't know if he actually lives in the community, but I would think so. He doesn't. He's not commuting from Long Island,
right?
He specifically talks shit about wealthy white guys coming in and doing the job from Long Island in another.
Well, yeah,
video.
dude, that's a lot of the problem with, like,
Even in LA.
especially in LA,
Yeah.
is none of the cops live in the.
Yeah, they're out in Simi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they have no investment in the neighborhood. They see it very much as an us versus them
Yeah,
thing because-
occupied territory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, when he talks about him being at the forefront of community policing, like,
Yeah,
they don't put fucking cops on foot patrol anymore. Like, if you put cops on foot patrol in certain neighborhoods, like,
somebody's going to talk to him.
somebody's going to talk to them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you humanize both sides.
Yeah.
It has to be the right type of cop. It's,
Sure.
everybody's different, but, like,
I mean, yeah, they want. I mean, I would imagine, they do want to, like, demystify the job. All cops are bastards is the common graffiti because, they're not strolling around anymore. They're showing up in SUVs like toughies. You know what I mean? And it's alienating.
Yeah. And in then there probably is a school of thought in policing that likes that.
Well, yeah, that's what there's the training.
It's the gang mentality.
Exactly.
It's the gang mentality.
Yeah.
It's the training of shepherds, sheep, and wolves.
Yep.
And they're the shepherds, we're the sheep, and the criminals are the wolves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just love that it's a guy that really walks the walk and talks the talk. But then he's also like just petty enough to be like, "Where's my fucking movie?"
Yeah.
Yeah. and he reads the situation correctly. He knows exactly what's going on
Yeah,
there.
you get Petrosino and this guy together. All of a sudden, you got yourself a whole fucking trilogy.
Yeah. But I wonder too if that him knowing guys like Grasso, and he's going like, "Oh yeah, the minute the movie came out, you fucking just booked it and went to Hollywood."
Right.
Like it's a pretty fucking tight like retirement fucking plan.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, he's not opening a youth center in fucking West Hollywood.
No, but I do actually believe he would do that.
Yeah, I meant Grasso.
Oh, Grasso, yes. No, 100%.
Yeah, but I think he seems very, very genuine.
Yeah,
It's just, and he's got such the look. We'll have to post a picture on the Instagram too, because he's got he almost looks like the fucking emperor before he turned bad.
Yeah.
Well, he was always bad, but his face, he looks like Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, you're casting him already. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You have to get him young, too.
A little bit like, Richard Jenny.
Sure, the comedian. Yeah.
Also dead. But he's
Suicide,
just
I
got
believe.
he's just got an incredible look to him.
Yeah, he does.
And he's such a character. I really like this guy.
Look, voice, dress, not good chains.
Oh, and he's wearing like the fucking Johnny Depp in black mask glasses. You know?
Yeah.
The
He's-
fucking windbreaker with the Dracula cowl.
He's got the fucking style, man.
Yeah, dude, he's the best.
For real. It's yeah, I would love to see a movie happen about this because it is fucking crazy, and I'm sure, you know, that fucking like that Irish cop. There's something about that guy where I'm like, this guy gets it, and knows he made a difference, but also is like, this guy's kind of a fucking wanker. You know what I mean? And like he gets how it's funny. And he's going, yeah, and he goes, oh, you know, and his mom is a very strong-willed woman.
To say the least.
Right. Yeah, and he's like, oh, yeah, you know her? He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She'd call the station all the time. Please, John.
But that is, if you had enough people like that, I think it'd be also like a very funny movie.
Yeah, you'd have to do it as like a dramedy.
Yeah, because it is like, how much of this is fucking bullshit and how, you know, how much, but, you know, it really seems like, it's like nobody forgot him.
Nobody forgot.
You know,
Well, he seems amazing. He was like he cared. He's a memorable guy. Seems like he
pisser.
care.
Major pisser.
John the Cop. Justice is Minds.
Yeah, just Psycho Cop was another one I heard.
Karate Cop, Zaps.
And then that martial arts guy called him the pure example, I think,
Yeah,
which is
as, the senseis of the Far East.
Yeah.
Yes, I was really like, oh,
community organizer.
But I was kind of like really touched by that. I was like, oh, he's right. Like,
he's tough, but he's fair.
Yeah. And it's
good set of abs on him.
It's very much a calling. It is not a fucking job where he's like,
yeah, I mean,
he doesn't clock out.
They definitely could have like done another half hour. Like they never. Why did he become a cop? He was in the army, and you know.
Yeah. They just. I mean, they're obviously they were trying to do this. Let's just say kind of shittily made movie. To get like the word out, you know. But I would guarantee you, almost certainly, that movie was made by one of fucking his students or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's somebody trying to get the word out about this very true character, and putting it on YouTube is a good idea because people can discover it.
There weren't any credits, were there?
No, it was just basically like a thanks to John the Cop, and then basically I think there was like a hashtag about like get the movie made.
There was that lady who was interviewing people while she was with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't exactly Diane Sawyer.
No. Yeah, there's like one other 7-minute video that has a lot of the same footage, and it's just like some other stuff. But it's him talking more shit about the mayor and stuff like that.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, the New York City mayor. That's like we should talk about on Patreon because like there's it's such a weird position.
It is. It's fucking bizarre, man.
Yeah,
it's fucking bizarre, and you know, it's a thing where people just go like, you gotta want to be hated to be the mayor of New York.
No. The guy now, Eric Adams, he has a phrase. He says, "Make your haters be your waiters." That's his.
What does that mean?
He says, "Make them be your haters be your waiters at the table of success." He's a real character. We'll talk about him in the next Patreon.
Ex-cop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, fellas, I hope you enjoyed that.
I did very much.
I did, yeah.
I hope we get to have some follow-up shit.
Would love that.
I got Laura working on some, periodical research.
John, I will
Microfiche.
I will say,
I broke you, didn't I?
I
broke you.
You've broken me years ago. But no, I like him.
There we go! There we go!
Not gonna end on a better note than that, pal.
That was fucking nice, man. That was fucking nice. I know. I was going to be squinting through the whole thing, like, what's he up to?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Listen, I love a devil's advocate. I was very happy you were ready to fill that role. It was very cool. Boys, let's say goodnight. I love each of you. Both of you look very, very handsome. Very, very handsome.
Yeah, nice shirt.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I'm going to say goodnight. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
My name is Aaron Pita.
Pepper so.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.